Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dude What Podcast. It's that time of the week again, everybody. Hope you're ready for another thrilling episode of DWP. I'm joined once again with the one and only Mr. Callum Hamby. How the hell you doing, bro?
Pretty good. Yeah. It doesn't seem like that long since I was on last time. A couple of weeks.
It's been a couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, it's flown by.
Yeah.
Start of it's like feels weird that we're like towards the end. Well, coming towards the end of January already.
I know it goes so fast. It's mad.
Yeah. No, it's been alright. It's I'm back in the swing of things now after Christmas, and yeah, it's been alright. Been busy.
Good to hear, man.
How about you?
Well, yeah, not so bad. Before I get into what I've been up to, I asked you back this week because a couple of weeks ago now we did the episode on the worst things about gaming, and the episode's gone down really well, man. Like, even in its second week of being out now, it's still getting listens. Yeah, so it went down really well, and we had planned, I think in that episode we actually sort of planned to do like a double parter to it, and we were like, well, we've done the best things, why don't we do the worst things?
Yeah.
And yeah, so we've left it a couple of weeks, and we've got you back to do that. But before we get into any of that stuff, yeah, I've been alright, thanks, man. I've been working, like back in the swing of it now. Been a bit quiet at my place, sort of early Jan. Just starting to pick up now. So it was a little bit boring. But this last week's getting a bit better. What I will say is I've been doing is, because a lot of the podcasts I listen to are now on their like Christmas/New Year's break, and they won't be coming back until sort of like probably very end of Jan, early Feb. There's been no podcast to listen to, so I've actually been listening back through some of the original Dude What pods, and today I listened to the first 3 episodes. So it was one on cats, one on a film called McHale's Navy, and then the one with you.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Episode 3, Love on a Leash, that we filmed in my garage when I lived back at my old house. And I just got to say, like, I apologise to everyone for the absolutely awful quality of those recordings. They are so bad.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, like, obviously, me and Tomo hadn't done anything like this before, and, you know, it was ropey. It's nowhere near as sort of, the production quality is nowhere near as good as it is now. We're a bit sort of nervous doing it, and you can really tell that we've been hitting the beers, like, heavily before those episodes. There's, in the episode I listened to this morning, well, one of them, I say a point, and then Tomo, like, he's obviously, like, pretty wasted. He just, like, goes, yeah, and then this thing, and like, says the same point again. And I'm just sort of like, yeah. And we just talk around the same point over and over again. So if you are a fan of this pod, and you've been with us since the beginning, just honestly, big thanks for getting through all those. I genuinely feel like, probably from episode 20 onwards, so it's only like the last 10, 11 pods, they've really started to get much better, in my opinion. Things are just flowing better, and obviously the setup is much better, and yeah, it's all around better. So that's what I've been doing, listening through the old pods. I've been playing a whole lot of Xbox recently. I've played a few games with yourself, and also I've been playing a little bit with Fee. Managed to get her into playing some of these 2-player games. Something that I'm probably going to touch on a bit later in this pod, but there's a game come out called It Takes Two. It's currently on the EA Play, which you get obviously as part of Game Pass. Really good. Really, really good. Definitely recommend it for sort of couples, more than like pals gaming. It's definitely like a couples game. Besides the gaming, I've been chatting with Adam a whole lot since the last podcast. When was the last time you spoke to Adam, dude?
Probably when we hung out. When did we hang out last? Like, all of us. There was a time. That was a
long time ago.
It was maybe like a year ago or so. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I spoke to Adam then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did the pod with him, and that was the first time me and him. I went to see his house, and it was the first time me and him had really like chatted on the phone for, you know, that episode's like almost 2 hours. We chatted about music so much, and it inspired me to restart our playlist that we've got with like All the Boys. It was called Brotherhood of Boss Music. It's now called The Brotherhood of Boss Music 2 Reshuffled.
Have you invited me?
You're already in it, bro. It's the same. It's the same playlist. I just went through and I removed everything that was in it, and we've started it fresh because our good friend Stevie was getting a little bit sort of song happy, and he was putting like 20 songs in at a time, and it got a bit overwhelming for me. And I spoke to Adam, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like there's just too much." So we've restarted that. But I've really been into music, dude. I find an album, I listen to it at work, and if it's good, it goes in my big playlist. If it's not good, it doesn't. I spend I can get through about 6 or 7 albums at work a day. So I've just been on this massive discovery of new music recently, and it's been really great. Definitely cool. I'll have to send you some tracks. There's so many, I can't even think of a single one right now, honestly. Had a few dogs and things at my house recently as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I sent you some pictures. Fee's best friend came over, brought her 2 big dogs, Maya and Charlie, stayed with us for a day. And then we also looked after Fee's other friend's little staffy called Blue. And lovely little dog, although him and Zeph did not like each other.
Really?
They did not like each other at all. It was like holding a dog each arm because they just wanted to fight.
Really? I didn't think Zeph was like that.
No, I didn't either, but I think that the problem is that this Blue the Staffy is really sort of protective over the humans. So it's like he's come into Zeph's house, and when Zeph got sort of close to us, when Blue was with us, he'd growl at Zeph, and Zeph was like, "Hang on a minute, mate, like this is my fucking house." And then Zeph would like go for him, and it was like, yeah, it ended up with having to be the dogs in separate rooms. You could not have them together unless they were playing. If they're playing with a ball, it's like Zeph was focused on the ball, Blue was focused on Zeph, but Zeph obviously doesn't care once you've got a ball. So like, they were all right like that. But yeah, man, it was a long night, and yeah. So
not like
speaking about dogs.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. What are you saying?
I was saying not like Hervey and Zeph, where they just ran around like lunatics for.
No, like Hervey. That's what I mean. Is like you say, I didn't think Zeph had it in him. Zeph has never shown really like protectiveness over us before, and
he was pretty amazingly patient with Hervey when we came around.
That's usually what he's like. It's usually the other dog gets annoyed with him because he doesn't want to play with him. But now, like at one point, Blue has a bit of an injured paw, and we knew this before he stayed over with ours. And at one point, I was like, right, I'm just going to look at your paw, because he's licking it loads. I touched his paw, he didn't like it, right? So he growled a little bit at me. And then again, Zeph was just like, ooh, straight in there, like, "You fucking what, mate?" Not having any of that.
Yeah.
And, just had to keep them apart. Anyway, speaking of dogs, Adam's got his dog.
Yeah.
I haven't met him yet, but I've seen a lot of videos. He's we reckon he is a husky cross Labrador called Moose. I say little, he looks massive already. But yeah, and I think it's, at the time of recording this, they've had him for like 2 nights now. And apparently it's going great, man. The joys of a puppy, eh?
Yeah, because you sent me the video of them like toilet training him, and I think I said to you, I was like, "It's giving me flashbacks." It's to be fair, it wasn't that bad the first few days. I'd say it got worse like after a few weeks. Once they start getting a bit more confident and like,
that's it.
Like,
yeah,
I'm not like scared anymore. It's like, oh my god, that's when Hervey started being like a dickhead. But
yeah. I think it's puppies. They're all cute and lovely, and then pissing everywhere.
Yeah,
I remember at our house, it was like we'd just gotten like brand new carpet and everything in the living room. Yeah. And although it didn't happen very often, it happened a few times where like, "Where's Zeph? Look over, he's taking a piss up the door."
Oh yeah, Hervey would. Yeah, Hervey would. Like, so we knew that before we got the puppy, and we basically put off getting new carpets until he was toilet trained.
But
good
shout.
But like what Hervey would do, he's fully toilet trained now. He's like 11 months old now, but he would be chilling on the sofa with us. He'd get up, and he'd kind of like excuse himself to the kitchen. And like, and then because we'd like both like knackered on the sofa, we'd be like, "Oh, what's he doing? He's been in there for like 5 minutes." And then you go in, there'd be like a turd in the middle of the kitchen or something. Like, fuck. What we had to do, we had to like basically use an enzyme cleaner, and like we cleaned like the entire like downstairs basically, and that did help. Yeah. But like, yeah, I'd say it took him like a month or so to get toilet trained.
Yeah, but then it's not that long.
He has
especially if you. Sorry, man. Carry on.
He has had occasional accidents as well. Actually, like not many. Like one, I'd say like he's had an accident once every like 3-4 months, if that. Like, and well, one of them was when somebody new came in the house and he was really excited. That was once. He did that once.
Well, that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't take too long.
Oh, that's good, man. I think with Zeph, we never were greeted with a big old turd in the kitchen floor, but a couple of times it was, like I say, pissing up the door, or the one time, it's like Zeph is a very vocal dog. He barks a whole lot, but if he wants to go use the toilet, he won't bark. He'll just sit by the door or something. So I think we didn't notice that he was sitting by the door asking to go out. And then I sort of looked over, and he was like, looking real sorry for himself, like pissing his pants. And I felt awful, man. And it was like, and since then, Zeph has had 0 accidents, and sometimes he's been in for a real long time. And I'm just like, where are you keeping all that?
Yeah. No, Hervey's he hasn't had an accident for a long, long time. And when he does, the only accidents he's had have been at other people's houses.
That's the same as Zeph.
And he marked. We were at my girlfriend's mum's, and he probably hadn't had an accident for like 3 months at this point. So we're pretty confident. He was like wandering around because he's been there loads of times. He's wandering around. It was just before Christmas, I think, and he was sort of just walking around sniffing as he does, and then and my girlfriend spotted him. He just cocked his leg and like peed like on like it was like a bag full of like presents. And he just but it wasn't like a proper like pee like it was like a mark, like a mark, Zeph probably does it all the time because Herbie does.
Yep.
And obviously like I didn't see it, but Tilly saw it and she was like, "Hey, no!" Like grabbed him, like shoved him outside, and it was like, and I think everything was fine. Nothing got like covered in wee or anything, but.
I think that was a similar situation with Zeph. Not long before Christmas. Well, actually, it was a little bit before Christmas. Fee took Zeph to go see Fee's mom, and Fee's family. They used to have 3 little Bichon Frise, the little fluffy lamb-looking dogs, and the oldest one passed away. Then the oldest male passed away, leaving like a. We say young, but she's probably fairly old now, like a little female dog. And Zeph just went in, and it was like he was smelling the... He was smelling the male dog's like old markings or whatnot just in the house. And he just started marking everywhere in the house. And it was like, oh my God. Fee was messaging me like, I can't stop him. Like, what's he doing?
It's embarrassing because you sort of go in there like, my dog's fully toilet trained, and he just pees everywhere. It's like...
Luckily I don't know what it's like at Tilly's folks, but luckily at Fee's mom's, it's like all hardwood. So you can just be like, done. It's not like it's, oh my God, the carpet.
And I mean, no, like they're all dog people as well. Nobody really cares. Yeah. Nobody minds. Everyone knows it's one of those things. Stop
definitely. It is just one of those things. Dogs will be dogs.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
No, I don't miss. I mean, Hervey is still a puppy, to be fair, but I don't miss him being like a proper puppy, if that makes sense. Like
I do and I don't. Like I had this conversation today with my manager at work, and we were talking about puppies and sort of how they are growing up so fast. Yeah. And it's sort of like, I missed the stage where Zeph was so small that you could just pick him up straight away. And he's a fluffy little ball and whatnot. But there was a lot of... Me and Fee were literally sleeping like split shift patterns.
Yeah, we had to.
Fee would go to bed way before me, and then... Or I would go to bed before her, and then I would get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning or something, to then my turn to let the dog out, and then it was. I slept on the sofa for a long time.
Oh, it wasn't. Yeah, I think we slept on the sofa a couple nights, and then after that we just set alarm. We slept upstairs and we just set alarms for like. I think at one point we had to do 2 times a night. So I think at one point it was like 1 o'clock and like 4 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is tough when you got work the next day and stuff as well.
Yeah,
You're like,
definitely.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fun. Like, it looks cute from the pictures that you sent me. And,
yeah. I think it won't be that long before he's like, oh my god, how do I do this or something. He'd be messaging both of us like, did this happen or whatever,
Yeah,
Adam's
dogs,
as I've said before in the pod. I said in last week's one. He's got a cat as well. It's the sister to my cat, and she seems really intrigued. She's like wants to know what the hell's going on and stuff. And yeah, I think those animals are gonna get along well. Best of luck to Adam and Moose and Hannah. Hopefully it's straightforward. I mean, like I said though, he looks like he's gonna be a big boy. So I reckon they've got their hands full.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah. Well, I'll say he's the opposite of Hervey. He's a skinny little guy.
He is. So, like, I would be interested when Moose is fully grown and Hervey, I think, what is it? Is it like up till 2 when they're still a puppy? Or is it like 1.5, they're a teenager until they're 2 or something?
I think most I don't know, it's kind of hard to define. I think most people say it's 2. But it varies dog to dog.
Zeph's not that far off on 2. Zeph will be 2 shortly. I'd be interested to see when all our dogs are old enough, like the size comparisons between them all.
Yeah, I think Hervey's pretty much as big as he's going to be. Like, he's got a bit of like, growing his muscles to go, but he's pretty much fully grown now. And he barely comes to my knee.
He's not that much smaller than Zeph though, I don't think.
No, he's
Zeph's
not.
Just got a bit more neck on him. Like...
Yeah, and also Zeph's obviously got like a lot more like bulk. Like Hervey's Hervey's just skinny. But yeah.
Well, speaking of bulk, this little Staffy was like half the size of Zeph, but the power that this thing had.
Oh yeah.
Easily heavier and more powerful than Zeph.
Got massive, like, muscly heads as well.
Yeah, the head was huge. The head was huge on it.
I do love Staffies, but
I really like Staffies. I've said before, I think Staffies, for me, have one of the most almost like human-like face out of all the dogs. So I genuinely think that if you look at a Staffy, like in its eyes and in its face and eyebrows and stuff, you can straight up tell what it's.
Yeah,
like its emotions, whereas like other dogs, not so much.
So sorry, I know I'm going off topic here. One of the interesting things, like I've heard people say, and it's quite common, is that people see like Staffies and like sighthounds, like whippets and greyhounds and things, and they go like, oh, like your like Staffy looks like it's like crossed with a greyhound or something, or like,
oh yeah,
and it's because like well-bred and well-looked after Staffies are really lean. Like they're very muscular but very lean.
Oh, okay,
and often people think like, oh, it looks a bit like a greyhound. It's like, it's not. It's just that it's just a really in shape Staffy, and they have very similar like body shapes. You know how like whippets and greyhounds like Hervey have like they have quite a big chest, and then it's seriously narrow waist.
Yeah.
And like we say, like really really fit and healthy and well bred Staffies are like that as well.
That's interesting.
They're very like very muscular, very lean dogs. That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I don't know if I said this on the pod. I probably have. We'll change topic soon. But I said about how I've been looking at like dog breeds like before and after like 100 years.
Yeah.
So if you look at them now and then you look at them what they look like 100 years ago, some of them the difference is insane.
Yeah. Especially
and I kind of feel bad. Like,
oh yeah. Especially the flat-faced breeds, like the pugs and stuff like that.
They just eat even smaller, even flatter. And it's like German Shepherds. They are completely different looking dogs. Yeah. And a lot of times the sort of the traits that humans have wanted to breed in these dogs is is bad for the dog.
Yeah.
It's like I was reading about German Shepherds they used to 100 years ago had fairly straight flat backs. Apparently they've been bred to have that like sloped back, and like the more slope the better, but that like gives them serious problems
Yeah.
In like later life and stuff, and it's just like, why is that a
And
thing?
so the other bad thing with like dog breeding as well is that over the last sort of like, I don't know, 30, 40 years, as more people have got dogs, basically dogs are bred more nowadays because there's such a profit in it. Dogs are bred more for appearance rather than temperament. So like with German shepherds, obviously they're you'd think that their job is to be like protection dogs or like police dogs and things like that. But not every German shepherd can do that because you have to have a dog with the correct temperament. And that's often quite hard to find. So if the police want a really, really good protection dog, they have to basically go through like proper like breeders, German shepherd breeders that take like really, really strong lines of like, pedigree basically. But nowadays, like, it's because a lot of people get German shepherds not for that purpose. They get it for just sitting at home and things. They just breed them purely on appearance, and that's why like breeds like, I'm using German shepherds as an example, but that's why breeds like German shepherds like nowadays are often a lot more fearful than they would have been 50 years ago. It's because because the temperament is just not been bred correctly. And there's loads of breeds like that. There's loads and loads of breeds like that. Like I use collies are a pretty good example as well. To be fair, although it's a different example. But yeah, German shepherds are probably the easiest thing to understand because it's like it's interesting and sort of like it's not very nice, is it? Really? I mean, it's like what's that dog with the? Is it an American bulldog? With the properly like sloped. Tilly's grandparents.
It's like it's got a head that's the shape of a rugby ball, and like it's desirable to have the dog with that head shape, and it's just like it doesn't look.
Yeah, I mean, we did our research a lot when we were looking at what breeds to get, and like I said, Tilly's had a lot of experience with whippets when she was younger because she had one, and they're not too bad for health, and that's one of the reasons why we got him, because it's like the only things that they do get quite often is like dental problems. That's the only issue really. But like every breed's got its associated problems. It's kind of impossible to not get them. But is what it is.
Well, Hamby, all this talk about dogs and stuff and dog breeds and stuff like that has got me mighty thirsty.
Oh yeah.
I think it's about time we jump into everybody's favourite segment. It's What Are We Drinking?
What are we drinking?
Okay. On this week's What Are We Drinking? Hamby, have you got yourself a beverage?
I have.
I've got myself a beverage. Now, before you jump into that, let me just tell you, I hope you won't be disrespecting this segment the way Adam disrespected it on the last episode. If you'll have listened to it, as soon as I said, what are we drinking, we launched into it, he started chugging a pint of water and then tried to say that he was drinking Captain Morgan's or something.
Oh.
Anyway,
Disgusting.
That looks interesting. What have you got there, bro?
I bought it the weekend. It is it's from the Black Sheep Brewery, but it's called Golden Sheep Ale.
Okay.
So I don't know. You must have had Black Sheep.
No.
So
I've seen it. I haven't had
Yeah,
it.
when you go to supermarkets, it's from Yorkshire. I like the normal Black Sheep. I don't think I've ever had the Golden Black Sheep. Golden
so I'm guessing,
Sheep.
What's the normal Black Sheep? Is it a stout? Like what sort of beer?
It's like an ale-y sort of bittery kind of thing. It's quite nice.
Okay,
it's quite nice.
So I'm guessing the golden one is like a golden, like amber.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I'll give it a swig.
Yeah, let us know, man.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's not too hoppy. It's the kind of thing that you could imagine like buying in a pub somewhere on cask kind of thing. It's nice. It's very refreshing. I can imagine drinking it in the summer.
Oh,
it's
really?
definitely got a summery taste to it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
In a pub beer garden in the summer, that'd be delicious. I mean, it's delicious now, but yeah.
Nice one, man. Well, that looks pretty good. I like the sort of the iconography they've got with there.
Yeah. So I saw it because I didn't even know that they did another beer, but they do, the brewery.
Cool.
Yeah, Theakston's. Sorry, it's
Oh, okay. I like
Theakston's beer.
Theakston.
Sorry, I was trying to remember the brewery that made Black Sheep or used to make Black Sheep. Yeah, it's Theakston's. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like a lot of Theakston stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. So I work right next to a massive Asda, and I was like, I'll go in there and get a beer, get a fancy beer or something. I totally forgot. But luckily, my house. I've got a Morrison's like just basically over the road. So I popped over there, and I'm like burning through all the beers they've got because I do this all the time. I totally forget. But I was like, what have they got? What have I got? And I found this Vocation Life or Death Classic IPA.
It's pretty cool.
It's a little 330ml can. It's a 6.5. It's got like this really cool can design where it's like black green with a big V on it. It's got a snake. It's got a crow sitting on a skull, and I was sold straight away basically. Oh well, yeah, and also says hoppy, tropical, citrusy on it, and I was like, that's everything I like.
That's there.
So I'm gonna crack this bad boy, and I'll let you know what I think. I mean, I'm interested myself. I was quite disappointed with the one I had on last week's episode. You'll have to give it a listen, Hamby.
Yeah.
It was an Aldi beer based off your, go to Aldi recommendation.
Oh yeah, what was it?
Not great.
Which one was it?
It was called Ghost Dance, and it was like a classic American Chinookan IPA.
Oh,
and it was brewed in Warwick.
It's a rip off of Ghost Ship, I think.
No, it was a craft. It was a little craft one.
It's not rip.
I've still got the can somewhere. I'll have to show it to you.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, I'm jumping into this Vocation Life or Death. I am nodding my head with appreciation, man. That is absolutely delicious. It's so fruity. I can imagine that. I think like Adam isn't a massive fan of fruity beers, but that is like mango, pineapple, very fruity. It's like hoppy and malty at the same time. You've got that strength from it because it is a 6.5, which is for me quite a lot. But yeah, oh my god, I may have a new favourite. That's delicious. It says surrender yourself to fruit-forward flavours with a dash of sharp citrus, followed by a lingering bitterness set against a smooth, malty base. I'm jumping back in, man.
Are you surrendering?
Vocation, baby. Pleasantly surprised by that. That is absolutely delicious. It's strong mind. It's strong, but no, really, really nice. Vocation Life and not Life or Death, Life and Death classic IPA.
Very nice.
Very nice, very nice. Well, that was a pretty good What We Drinkin', man. I'm sure these beers are going to be sort of, well, I don't know how long this is going to be sat next to me, but these beers are going to be with us for the rest of the ep. So how's about we leave this little segment here?
What are we drinking?
Okay, it's time. Mr. Hamby, in the last episode you were on, we trialled your new segment, bro. Although we actually forgot about it until literally the last 2 minutes of the pod, and we crammed it in there. But actually, I thought it was the perfect ending, and I listened to it with Fee the other day. I was like, you've got to listen to this pod. And it's great. It's like, everybody, thanks for listening to Do What Podcast, and then Hamby's just like, turkey sucks! and then the podcast ends. and yeah, it was really good. So, everybody, this is Hamby's new segment. It's Hamby's Hambone to pick.
He's pissed off, he's angry, his name must be Hamby. It's Hamby's Hambone to pick.
Take it away, Mr. Hamby.
Okay. This is kind of bad, but so like, doesn't it wind? I know you don't. You drive a
Wait. Before you do, one of the errors of last pod was we didn't actually explain what it was before you did it. So, Hamby's Hambone to pick. It's just, when you're just saying like I got a bone to pick with you. Like it's shit you hate.
Okay, it's the thing that winds me up this week is petrol stations that don't pay at the pump. Like, why the hell, 2022, Have I got to pay, put my petrol in, walk into the shop, and pay and come back in? Why can't I just do it on the card outside like supermarkets
Yeah, no,
do?
I get that. Yeah, I
dumb.
totally get that.
It's dumb.
It's weird because a lot of petrol stations, they'll have maybe 1 or 2 pumps that are pay at pump, and the rest are normal. And it's like, why? Just put them all pay at pump.
Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, I've got nothing more to add to that, but it just winds me up.
That was absolutely perfect, man. That was perfect. All right, Hamby's Hambone to pick, everybody.
He's pissed off, he's angry, his name must be Hamby. It's Hamby's Hambone to pick.
Okay, Hamby, that was a pretty good Hambone to pick, bro. It's good. Yeah, hard hitting, straight to the annoying shit of today. Okay, you all know what happens next. It's time for a little bit of entertainment news. Basically what I do is I just sort of go through the biggest stories of the week, or at least the things that I think are the biggest stories of the week, and just make a note of them, and then we have a bit of a chat about them. So, Hamby, if there's anything you want to add to any of this stuff, feel free to do so, my man. First, a little bit of news. A new poster for the Uncharted film came out, starring Tom Holland as 40-year-old man Nathan Drake. Did you play any of the Uncharted games? I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation
Yeah,
before.
I did. I played the first 3, I think.
Okay. Yeah, well, they're good games.
Yeah, they are. They're good games. Yeah.
They're good games, and they look like... and to be fair, this film looks like it's going to take a lot of inspiration from the games. And yeah, to be fair, the more I see of it, the more I think it's good. I'm pretty sure we've spoken at length about this whole Uncharted thing, so... Yeah, new poster for Uncharted. I'm pretty sure Mark Wahlberg's got a little mustache in it. Maybe I made that up. Next little bit of news. Spider-Man No Way Home is coming to streaming, so I guess that means like Disney Plus, on February 28th. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're still somehow avoiding spoilers,
I am. We're seeing it on Wednesday.
Oh, I thought you'd already seen it.
No, man, we've not seen it yet.
Oh my god, bro!
We're going
spoiled for you.
We're going into London for the day, and we're going to go to one of the IMAX.
Oh, cool, man! Oh, badass! I swear. Oh, it was Adam. It was Adam I was talking to who's seen it.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
But yeah, February 28th for everyone who hasn't seen it yet and is still trying to hang on. Not that far away. I swear. Usually, the window of sort of time between cinema and streaming and whatnot is usually longer. Maybe it's just been ages. I don't know. It was like early December when it came out. No, it's usually like 6 months or something.
Yeah, but I guess they probably nowadays, because you can charge for the streaming, I guess, on top of the Disney
yeah, you
Plus,
can, but I doubt they're going to do that because Disney usually only do that Premier Access when it's like day of kind of thing.
Are you sure it's coming to Disney?
See how it...
Because all the other ones are on Netflix, aren't they?
All the other what? All the other
all the other recent Tom Holland Spider-Man are all on Netflix.
I guess they are at the minute. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Next little bit of news. There are tons of cameo rumors for the upcoming Doctor Strange film. As I said in the last pod, there's a lot of Marvel in my news and things. I obviously am a big Marvel fan, but Marvel's just obviously it's mega in cinema at the moment. Has been for like best part of 10 years. So there's a lot of Marvel news. Have you heard about any of these? Right. So we know that Doctor Strange is having reshoots because of rumors, because they want to just cram in as many cameos as they can. Right. Here are some rumored cameos that you may or may not have heard about. Let me know what you think. Right. Here's the first one. Tom Cruise as an Iron Man variant.
Right.
Yeah? Because Tom Cruise was the first choice for Iron Man. I don't know if you know that, but back in the day, I think he turned it down for Mission Impossible. But yeah, Tom Cruise rumoured to show us like Tony Stark. That'll be so cool. You've got Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. Badass. There's obviously there's literally so many. I couldn't list them all, but there's like almost everyone who was in an X-Men film. X-Men, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, Ian McKellen's Magneto, Patrick Stewart's Professor X, Cyclops, everyone who's been in one of those films. Also, along with Mr. Fantastic and Jessica Alba as like Invisible Woman and loads of characters from those films. So it's looking like it's going to be big. It's apparently, rumours are that it's going to break the sort of Avengers record for the most amount of characters on screen. I'm really looking forward to it, considering it's like the next Marvel film that comes out. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Next little bit of news. Did you see that the new trailer for Jackass Forever came out?
I did not.
Okay, well, it's cool. It's very like... we were sort of the generation of kids that watched Jackass like at a really young age, probably when like earlier than we should. It obviously came out in like MTV in the 90s, and then there was the movies, and it was like an ultimate like sleepover film. You go around someone's house, you watch like Jackass 2. Well, Jackass Forever, the fourth one in the series, is coming out, and the trailer looks really good. Looks hilarious. It looks like they're getting a lot of the young blood in there, because a lot of the Jackass boys are like getting on a little
They're in
bit.
their
Like
50s.
Johnny Knoxville's got grey hair in this, and he's like a skeleton. He's so gaunt. Like,
Yeah. They're all pretty old now. Yeah.
yeah, defo. But did you hear this whole thing about Bam Margera not appearing?
About Bam Margera what?
Not appearing in the film.
I know that he struggled a lot since... is it Ryan Dunn died?
Yeah, in the car crash.
I know that like he's gone through a lot of shit since that. But I don't know I didn't know he was not going to be in it.
So basically, it came out that he wasn't going to be in the film, and he kicked off. He's like, my brothers have betrayed me. I think he stories were that he was trying to sue Knoxville and some of the producers and things, because he felt like they were cashing in something he kind of created with them. And then it came out that I think it was a conversation with Steve-O. Steve-O was like, we said to Bam, if you get off all the drugs, we want you back. And he gave Bam like one shot. It was like, you got to come clean, you got to stay off the shit. And apparently Bam Margera just didn't, and he's pretty known for being off his head the whole time, basically.
Yeah.
And they said, we gave you a chance, you said no, we don't want you to be part of this, right? And there's this whole thing, like I said, there's like a rumoured lawsuit and everything, but guess what? It's come out today, or yesterday, that Bam Margera is confirmed to be in Jackass 4. So, I don't know what that whole thing was about. Maybe it was just building hype for this
publicity. Film. That sounds like it, yeah, publicity.
Yeah.
I remember...
Weird, though, to put someone through, like, bringing up a whole lot of past, like, addiction troubles and stuff just to, like, hype a film.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I know he kind of fell off a little bit, like, the last 10 years. But I know, Steve-O...
he used to be a real, skinny skater boy, and now he's, like, almost unrecognisable.
Yeah, I know Steve-O had a lot of, like, drug addiction problems, didn't he? But then he, like, went, like, super duper clean and stuff, and now
I think Steve-O's been completely sober for years now.
Yeah. I don't know about Johnny I'm assuming Johnny Knoxville wasn't, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they all were sort of, involved in that lifestyle to some extent. But
yeah, no, I'll try and watch that when it comes out, because I always love Jackass movies. Yeah, always love Jackass movies.
Definitely. I'd say it looks like there's a lot of sort of young, new people in it.
Yeah.
There's a really funny bit in the trailer where it's like people trying to just order an ice cream, and there's just punching bags shooting out of the ice cream, decking people and hitting them in the nuts and stuff. It's really good.
Is Wee Man in it?
Next little bit of news.
Oh, sorry, man. Let me interrupt.
No, sorry, man. What were you saying?
This is Wee Man in it.
I didn't see him in the trailer, I hope Wee Man's it. Like, I didn't see Preston Lacey in the trailer either.
Yeah.
I hope a lot of those boys are back.
Crucial parts of the cast.
Defo.
Sorry, man. Let me interrupt.
Yeah, no. So are you aware that there is a Scream sort of reboot / sequel coming out?
I'm not. No.
Well, I mean, I've never really been into Scream.
No, not really.
Liked the first one a little bit because actor Matthew Lillard was in it. he was sort of most known for being Scooby-Doo in the Scooby-Doo films. No, sorry, Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo films.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Scream movie has finally knocked Spider-Man off the top slot for biggest opening weekend, which is kind of weird. You know, like it's like Scream like that. Is that any good? But $30.6 million opening weekend. Mega. Massive. Seems like a lot of people are really nostalgic for the ghost face, scary man with a knife thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, Spider-Man, it's going to get knocked off at some point, but Scream, really?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch through all the others because I just don't remember anything about... I've seen the first one, I'd say, that's it. Last little bit of news, and I think you're going to like this one, Hamby. So, videos have emerged online of Jeff Goldblum walking the runway at Prada's Milan Fashion Week. Apparently, he was modelling the winter collection. Now, if you haven't seen these videos, they're pretty good. Jeff Goldblum has got it, man. And speaking of Jeff Goldblum, I often think that when I listen back to these pods, because we used to edit the hell out of these, and now I just sort of, I'm like, yeah, you know, who cares? Like, this is what I sound like, I'm living in. I say and so many times, I genuinely get a bit of a Jeff Goldblum vibe off myself when I listen to these pods. Well, you know, it's like all these things, you know, I could just imagine him modelling and he's like, I'm Jeff Goldblum. But yeah, it's pretty cool, man. You should definitely check those out.
Yeah.
What a legend. What an absolute legend. He's got to be like late 60s at least.
Yeah, it's got to be, yeah.
Okay, so that's all the entertainment news we have for today. I did try and get some video game news and stuff like that in there, but really it's a bit dry at the moment. There's not really a whole lot going on. There's, you know, PlayStation is still pushing this whole Spartacus thing, but we still don't really know what it is, like a on-demand streaming thing. There's not really much information about it. So, yeah, I couldn't really find much else. Okay, so getting into the meat of this podcast. As I said at the beginning of this pod, a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Callum Hamby joined me and we spoke at length about the worst things about gaming. You know, the industry, individual games, all sorts of stuff. And I think while we were doing that podcast, we said, let's do a sequel to this. Like, a lot of our episodes seem to be sort of two-parters these days. But we were like, let's come back and do the best things about gaming. Now, I don't know about you, Hamby, but I found this pretty tricky. I can easily think about things I hate about gaming, but things I like, it's like, well, I know, you know, the games I like, and I don't know. So how I thought we'd do this is, you know, you've had some time to think about it. You've got some points, I imagine. I've got some points. Let's just burn through them, baby. What do you got for me?
Yeah, so I think the first kind of like thing I wanted to talk about was like chill out games.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is like games that you don't necessarily have to give your complete attention to while playing.
Okay.
So there's a few games that I've got on here that that fit that category for my mind. The main one, which I think you're going to laugh. I don't know if you know that I play this I don't really play it much from now, but a couple of years ago I played it quite a lot. But I used to be really, really into Euro Truck Simulator.
Okay,
and
I
like,
didn't know you play that.
And everybody laughs when you tell them that you play that game, but then they play it and then they're like, "Oh damn!" Like I actually see why people like it, because you literally can explore the whole of Europe in your truck. You don't have to pay attention to it. You can like watch a YouTube video. You can listen to a podcast, and you're just driving.
Okay,
You're just driving on the motorway, like that. And it's such a relaxing game. And you know, there's no people go like, well, what's the point of it? What are you trying to do? And it's like, well, like you basically the idea of the game is that you make a company and you basically have like you take freight from one side of the continent to the other, and you can do small jobs, big jobs. It's up to you. It's completely up to you, and there's no pressure on any of it either. It's not like you got to get here. Well, there is, like, you can have it, so it's time pressure, but often you can just take it at your own pace. And
so that sounds pretty cool, But when you play this, I'm guessing you're playing this on a PC.
Yeah.
So when you play this, are you playing it with a wheel?
No, I just got a keyboard and mouse. You can do it. You can do it with a wheel.
Keyboard and mouse. Damn. See, I was thinking, you know what? Like, I can actually imagine myself chilling out, listening to a podcast or something. But only really, I guess, if I had the wheel. I can't really think about doing that with the controller because I don't know. I get what you mean though. Like, I get what you mean definitely about like chill out games. Like, I think for me a good chill out game would be like early Lego games.
Yeah.
Because you don't even really all you're doing is you're just walking around spamming X and smashing stuff. You don't have to concentrate, and it doesn't really matter what happens.
Yeah, and the other kind of games that I like for this as well are the Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon games. Like, I've played a fair few of them, and I've always liked them because I can just kind of go into autopilot while playing them. And it doesn't really matter. It's like with the Forza games, the thing that I think is good and bad about it is the fact that you can get a lot of good shit by coming last or like just racing like, you know, normally. You don't have to win every single race, so you're just like, oh, whatever, fuck it, I'll just play like
Yeah, I get you. I think, I don't know, driving games have always been a tricky one with me because although I feel like I'm all right at them, I don't feel like I'm bad at them. I just don't enjoy them very much because anything that gets too repetitive, I can't. It's too much for me. And I think driving games do get repetitive. I think the Lego games, like I said, obviously they get repetitive as well. However, it is a new little challenge every time. And yeah, you are just breaking stuff at the end of the day, but there is a new little challenge. I say the Lego games, definitely the old ones, not the new ones. I don't like the new ones because they treat them like AAA, you know, games with open world and all, and too much going on. I like the no talking, just sort of, you know, little sounds and, you know, just, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Have you got any other games you class as chill out games?
I think, although I haven't played it quite as much as the other ones, there's a few kind of like those 2D games that are pretty good for that. So like the really popular one is like Stardew Valley.
I haven't played that.
Which I think it's on Game Pass actually. Which I've played it a decent amount on PC, but I know that I didn't get that far into the game. But basically, it's like a top-down game where you like make your own farm. It's
I quite like stuff like that.
Completely single player. It's not like a microtransaction kind of game. It's a completely single player game, and like it's not like that. It's not. I know that it sounds like it's Farmville. It's not Farmville at all. But it's great because you don't have to pay attention to it. It's just nice and peaceful. You can do things while you're playing it. I like those kind of games. Like, not every single game needs to have your complete attention. But yeah, Euro Truck Simulator, like, it's fantastic. It's a phenomenal game.
Okay,
and
yeah. Let's get Hamby a sponsor, everybody. I want to see him with a cap and, like, you know, a Euro Truck shirt.
Right, such a weird thing. I've been trying to find it. You make that joke, but me and my girlfriend, I reckon it was probably 4 years ago at this point. Yeah. I went into a game store, and I think I was buying a second-hand Xbox One, and I think one of the farming simulator games had just come out, and the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh, do you want like a farming simulator hat?" Like, and I was like buying like an Xbox, like with like, I don't know, a Call of Duty, I can't remember, like a game of some description. Yeah. And he's like, "Do you want a farming simulator hat?" I was like, "No, not really." And he was like, "You sure? Like, we're literally giving them away because like we have like a box full of farming simulator hats as like merch, for this game."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh," and my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, take it." I was like, "So somewhere in my house, I have a farming simulator hat."
What is it? Like a baseball cap or like a cowboy hat? Like
no. Like, I wish it's a cowboy hat. No, it's like a baseball cap. I wish it was like a cowboy hat, but
proper straw cowboy hat.
yeah, I've not played the farming simulator games. I think they're similar, but I've not played them.
Yeah, not my sort of thing. I'm not that big into simulators, to be honest. But I get what you mean. Yeah, chill out games. That is a good thing about gaming.
Don't knock it till you tried it, honestly.
Okay, yeah. I mean, every now and again, I'll scroll on my news feed and I'll see some guy in US star-spangled tank top, cap, handlebar mustache, and with the full setup, and he's like, yoo-hoo! Driving across the US.
Yeah, there's also American Truck Simulator, which I haven't played as much of. I like the Euro Truck Simulator because basically you can buy expansion packs for the whole of Eastern Europe, and you can just drive. You can drive to all those places. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
cool.
Yeah.
So my points are all really vague, man. As I said, I struggled with this, so. For my first point, I think one of the best things about gaming is when a company is given the funds to just make a new IP, like a AAA new IP. And I love the anticipation before a game like that comes out, when you're like, what is this game? It looks so good. You don't know anything about it, but you know that it's going to be a big money game, I just really like that. The problem is that 9 times out of 10, as we said in the hated episode, it gets released too early or something, and something ruins it. But especially when it's a smaller studio, and they're someone is you know what, these guys have got it. Let's give them a chunk, and you get a brand new game coming out. The only thing that's even happening at the minute for me that I can say is similar is this Starfield.
Yeah.
Because we don't know that much about it, but it's a AAA. It's a new IP. I'm looking forward to it.
But
I think that is a good thing about gaming.
I think the problem. Sorry, I know this is meant to be positive. I think the problem with a lot of games, I think we probably spoke about this last week, is that every single game that Bethesda come out with, it's hyped to absolute shit, and you're fair enough. Well, Bethesda are good and they come out with a lot of good games, but the problem is that people have an expectation in their head of what it's going to be like.
Yeah,
and when it's not like that, people go, "It's shit. It's game shit." It's
and
it's
the problem is
hyped
as well
so much.
Yeah, the problem is as well is that these days there aren't really any new IPs that come out.
No, it's pretty rare.
It's all sequels, reboots. It's that's when I love that sort of anticipation for a brand new AAA new IP. IP stands for intellectual property, is it?
Yeah. I remember when 10, 12 years ago when when I was at school and I didn't have a job and stuff like that, and I used to love when E3 was on, because how long's E3 last? Couple weeks? And it was
I think it's a couple of days, but the whole event is stretched.
But there'd be a couple of days where all the big studios, Xbox, Sony would do their conferences, and we'd be watching it, and then you'd be messaging your friends about oh, this game just got announced and looks amazing, and I don't know if it's because we're older, but I just don't get excited about it anymore.
I think it is because we're older, because I still watch E3. I at least watch the Xbox conference every year, and it just doesn't hit the same. I mean, they're announcing cool games and things, but back when we were younger, and for example, I mean, I know it's not entirely a new IP, but Rockstar were we're doing a cowboy game called Red Dead Redemption, and it was oh, this game looks amazing, and it just doesn't feel like you get that so much anymore.
Yeah.
Or if you do, it's it's a new game based in this world that you already know everything about, kind of thing. It's sort of where's the new stuff?
Yeah. Or it's just here's Skyrim for on something else.
You can literally play Skyrim on an Alexa. It's a joke at this point.
It's okay. Oh no, I don't know if it's because we're older. I think part of it's that, Part of it is
I think
just,
it is, man.
Part of it is just that there are just less new IPs coming from the big studios. You know, and if you want new IPs, you basically have to like look at like indie games and things like that. Which
a lot of indie games are good, but unfortunately, a lot of them just don't do it for me.
What I would say is, indie games are definitely a lot stronger and better on PC.
Okay.
It's just that I don't know why. It's just that I don't know if it's because it's easier to release games on Steam or whatever, or on early access on Steam, but there's a lot of indie games on Steam that are actually very, very good, that often don't ever make it to console because whatever reason.
All right. Well, that was my first one. New AAA IPs, rare, but when you do get them, I love it. I love the anticipation.
Yeah.
Hamby, what's your next point, bro?
So this is another that is good, but also could be construed as a negative, but I think mainly a good thing, is that just how mind-bogglingly amazing graphics are now.
I had this written down as well. We can combine them.
And actually, that if you'd had shown me games that are coming out nowadays to me 10 years ago, my mind would have completely melted. Even just 10 years ago. That's not even that long ago in the grand scheme of things. You know, games were pretty good 10 years ago, good looking, but you compare games like GTA 5 that came out in 2013 to games that come out now, like, and you can notice a difference between.
Oh yes.
And that was 9 years ago, not even 10. And if it's kind of expected, if a game is coming out from a big game studio, that it's gonna look amazing. I guess the negative with that is that it's kind of hard to impress people nowadays with that kind of thing. Because it's just expected that your game's going to look amazing. Because, I'm going to be playing on my nice big 4K TV and it's going to look awesome. But games like, notable games that I've played recently, like the Forza Horizon games, are gorgeous, like gorgeous games.
Yeah, really good. I wrote down like graphics, and I wrote down like, especially in cutscenes as well. Some of the games, like for example, I recently played through the 2019 or 2018 Modern Warfare reboot, and the graphics in the cuts, like that game's a few years old now, but the graphics in the cutscenes for those games, it's like cinema quality. They're so good. I mean, I know they're not, like, the gameplay graphics are still amazing, but like, I know the cutscene is going to look better because it's like, you're not really playing it and it is a movie, but still, like, the visuals are just insane.
Yeah.
It looks so good. And like, I mean, we are the we had PlayStation 1s and 2s and original Xboxes and stuff, and like, I remember playing like Assassin's Creed 1 and stuff, where everyone's got like jagged outlines, and even worse games, like the first Metal Gear, where your head is literally a pixel, and it's just a blur, and then you look at stuff now and you're like, damn, it just looks so good.
But the thing is, when I played those games when I was younger, like, I was still blown away by them when they came out.
Oh yeah, like 100%.
Like when I got my 360 and I had games like Assassin's Creed and stuff, like that was crazy when it came out. I was like, this looks amazing. This is the best looking game ever. Yeah. Now, like, it looks garbage, like compared to modern games.
I'm so sort of like snobby now that I'll go back and I'll play a game and I'll be like, it burns my eyes. Yeah. I can't play it. And and it's like, back in the day when I played it the first time around, I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
And like, it just shows how far along things have come.
And the other thing,
which is also then why it's disappointing when a brand new game comes out, AAA, and it sort of doesn't look amazing.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't look as perfect as some other games.
Yeah. I think one of the things that is interesting, because I think like a lot of games are almost reaching that point now, is where they're able to, like, I think the new the Matrix game that came out, or Matrix like demo that came out a few weeks or months ago, where like you're getting to the point now where the humans that you're making in the game are almost like too real, in that, like, actually the Uncanny Valley kind of stuff. Yeah,
you have tied that perfectly back to a point I made earlier when I spoke about when I was listening through the old podcasts. So in the very first episode of this podcast, I fully in-depth explain the Uncanny Valley to Tomo.
Yeah.
And how that all works. And yeah, like, you make something that looks so good, it looks too real that it then looks completely unreal.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, and I think because for game developers and for like artists and things who work on games, like, it is a genuine thing. You don't want to get to that point because it's off-putting and looks strange. Yeah. And I think a lot of the games, like it was the Matrix game, I know, that came out recently.
Matrix Awakens was like the tech demo thing.
And that was like, that literally looked like real life. Like,
it did, yeah. Especially when you're in the free roam section of that game.
Yeah.
You can sort of mess with the sun where it is and stuff. If you bring the sun real low to the sky, turn off the Matrix filter that makes everything like green, and you just look at the sun shining in the character's face, the reflections on the skin, the glasses and everything, it's incredible.
Yeah. And
it's the first time that I've been like, whoa, next gen, because like they can do that. Why? It makes me think, like, why aren't more games looking like that? Why are we still supporting these old machines,
Yeah.
But yeah, that gives me hope for like the future of gaming.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, graphics being amazing.
Man, graphics.
Yeah.
So to tie, because I wrote down on the next point, I wrote down like great features, and graphics was one of them. The other one I wrote down is obviously gameplay. When a game has a really cool or unique gameplay hook. For example, I said earlier that I've gotten Fee into gaming. I've like almost completed one of my ultimate goals, which is to get it so that I come home and Fee's like, "You want to play some Xbox?" Which genuinely happened like a couple of, the last couple of days. It's been great. We stayed up and we played until about 1:30, from like 4 p.m. till like 1:30 a.m. We found this game called It Takes Two. As I said, it's on EA. It's by I can't think of the developer, but the game director is a guy called Joseph Faris, and he is responsible for like, I think it's called like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons or something, A Way Out, that sort of prison break game, and now this game called It Takes Two. And the whole, as I said, it's sort of like a couples game. The whole game revolves around two parents that are going to get a divorce, and they get thrown into this magical world, and they have to work together to progress and to sort of learn that they like need each other again. And so it's a 2-player game. You can only play it in 2-player. There's no single player. And even if you were like, fuck it, like I'll just put the other controller over there or something and play it, you can't, because you're both 2 players are fully needed to progress, because it's not always the same path. Things are needed, and the gameplay was so good because it keeps it fresh. Every new level, you've got a new gameplay mechanic, whether that's, you can throw something and call it back, or you've now got a jetpack, or you're riding something, or you're swimming or something. And like, that game was just so well developed and everything, that it like, you brought the characters together, but it also brought me and Fee together in that, we're now playing this game together, and she never, likes playing games that much, and now she does. So when games can do that, when games have that sort of gameplay that's just different, but really good, Sometimes they do gameplay mechanics in games, and it's fucking shit. For example, the blinking mechanic in Alone in the Dark. Who the hell thought that was a good idea? If you don't click the stick in every couple of seconds, your guy's eyes gum up and he can't see anything.
I remember that.
Like, what the hell? But yeah, man. Tilly likes playing games, doesn't she? She plays a lot of RuneScape.
Yeah, she doesn't mind it, but I
Have
think
you got 2 controllers?
For my Xbox One, we do. Can you use Xbox One controllers on?
Yeah.
And then we have like 3 then.
Mate, trust me, download It Takes Two off Game Pass.
Yeah.
But for some reason it's not on Game Pass. You have to go onto the EA Play to actually download it. But really good. And that is one thing I love about gaming. Unique gameplay mechanics. Think of the whip in Just Cause. how that makes the gameplay so fun to the point where other games are copying it, like the Halo game, but it does it like crap compared to Just Cause.
Yeah, it's not as good.
Yeah, like stuff like that when they're like, when developers are like, I think this is going to be good, and it is, you know, really good.
Yeah.
Amazing gameplay mechanics. That's one of mine. You got another one, Hamby?
Yeah. I know you're not really into these kind of games, but
Football Manager.
I was going to come on to this actually, to be fair, but not that for this one. So this is about real-time strategy games, RTS games.
Okay.
Which I don't think you're a massive fan of.
So, is Age of Empires an RTS?
Yeah.
So, I've been playing a game. I've downloaded my Xbox, like that stuff, onto my work PC, which is something I'm gonna come to later. But so what I've been doing is when like I'm not working, I sneakily click on the thing, and I've been playing a game on there called 2 Point Hospital, which is sort of like a funny like hospital simulator game. But today I just installed Age of Empires 3, the definitive edition.
Oh, classic.
So I'm gonna play it tomorrow. So like, yeah, I like the thought of them. I just don't play them. I think it's because I don't like playing a game like that with a controller.
No, you're not supposed to. Yeah.
I like to be mouse and keyboard, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Age of Empires 2 was like one of the first video games I ever played. To be fair, I think it might have been. And Age of Empires 3 came out, and I really liked it. I haven't played the new one because mainly because I haven't really had anything to play it on.
I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass.
Yeah,
I just downloaded 3 because it was one of the smallest ones at 138 gigabytes.
It is. I also was a massive fan of the Age of Mythology as well games.
Yeah, so I have played both of those actually.
So I'm a massive fan of real-time strategy games. I think that unfortunately it doesn't really lend itself too well to playing it on consoles generally, or on controller, and I think that's why a lot of people don't really play them much, because they just don't have a PC to play it on or a keyboard and mouse to play it on.
True.
But like there are some fantastic strategy games, or either turn-based or real-time strategy games on PC. My big favourite are the Total War games.
I know you like the Total Wars and things.
Yeah, always been a massive fan of them. They've had a few shit ones over the years, but you know, plenty of ones are really, really good. Like the first Rome Total War, medieval Total Wars as well, the Shogun Total Wars. It's a fantastic game series on the whole. Attila Total War, like one of the recent ones. And the thing I really like about them as well is like they're relatively historically accurate as well. They're as historically accurate as they can be, while still being like a game, you know. A game that I tried to get into, or that the type of games that I tried to get into a few years ago, but I just couldn't. Are the games made by a studio called Paradox Studios.
Doesn't ring a bell.
So they basically the main game that they're popular for is called Europa Universalis, and it's called like a grand strategy game where it's like there's no combat. Okay. It's just purely like you looking at a map and like choosing to. It's like a proper nerdy game. And I could not get my head around this. It was a really hard to understand game, but they did release a game that's on Game Pass called Stellaris.
I've seen it on there. Yeah.
So that's made by Paradox, and I played it a fair bit on PC when it came out, like I don't know, like 3 years ago or so on PC. And it's a lot more accessible than Europa Universalis, as in like you don't need to watch like hours and hours of YouTube videos to figure out how to like do one thing, you know what I mean? But in Europa Universalis, I know they've brought on to console as well. But yeah, so that's another strategy game that I absolutely love. yeah, those are sort of highlights. There's a few others, like older ones, that I quite enjoyed. Like I don't know if you played much of like the Red Alert and Command and Conquer games.
No, so I've never ever played a Command and Conquer game.
So like back in the day, they were fantastic. Even on like console, they were good fun.
Well, yeah, like wasn't Tim Curry in one of them?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, like I don't think they've released any recently, but like I say on like 360 days, like I played. I think it was the first Red Alert I played on 360. I can't remember. But yeah, lots and lots of good fun because they're quite similar to the Age of Empires, but they're kind of like futuristic, kind of combat like that.
No, yeah, I like those sort of games too. I just, like you say, like they're better on a PC, like on a mouse and keyboard, and I don't like playing a game like that on a controller, so I haven't. But yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to going to work tomorrow so that I can play a bit of Age of Empires 3 HD.
Your bosses listen to this podcast.
My boss is listening to this podcast.
You know that you're just playing for Age of Empires.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, perk of the job, man. You make them sales, you get to play the games.
Fair enough. I couldn't get away with it where I work.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, man, well, it'd be a bit extreme if they walked in and you were just like playing Age of Empires. Like. Okay, so yeah, it ties nicely into my next point. Well, it isn't my next point. It's a couple ahead, but I'll skip. I love what I love about gaming these days is how, especially with it, I mean, we're Xbox boys, right? I don't really know how well PlayStation works. I have a PlayStation, but I don't play it. I love how now I can play my Xbox on like anything. I can play my Xbox on my phone right now if I wanted to. I could play my Xbox on my computer at work. Like, I love how you can do that. I used to think of myself as being pretty tech savvy about 5 years ago, but now it's sort of overtaken me a little bit, and I'm sort of stuck in my ways. So it wasn't until recently that I literally went on my phone and I was like, what the hell? I can play, and then I was playing a game on my phone, and I was like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
And then, like I say, at work, I've downloaded the Xbox app, I've signed in, and it's like, here's your games, what do you want to play? And I'm like, well, I don't have a controller, and the computer's like, no problem, man, mouse and keyboard. And I'm like, oh, sick. And although I don't like mouse and keyboard, for playing a game like that, like what we were just talking about, it's perfect. So, yeah, man, I love how I can access all that stuff now. It's so cool.
I think that's one of the things I love about the Xbox and PC stuff at the moment is how easy it is to go from PC gaming and Xbox gaming. Like, it used to be not that too long ago, like, it was like Xbox, PlayStation, PC. But now, actually, like, even if I didn't have my Xbox, I could still play with you guys on a lot of games. I could still play with you. I could still do party chat through the PC as well now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually don't need to have an Xbox. Like,
you could do it, like I was saying, you could do it through your phone. I've gone on party chat through my phone before.
Yeah.
Like, it's how far that has come along is just so good.
Oh yeah, what I would like to happen. I mean, not that I have many friends that have PS5s, but it would be really cool if there was just a one unified party chat system. Like a lot of people use like Discord on PC. That's really, really popular. And whether or not there could be something like that for everything. That's like, oh, it doesn't matter if my friend has a PlayStation or I have a PC. I can just talk to them on Discord or whatever equivalent it would be.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah.
Because that was the one thing that was really annoying when I was at school, was that you'd be like, I really want to play like Call of Duty or Gears or whatever game that people play with so and so, but they got a PlayStation. And it's like, or they got an Xbox, and you just can't play with them because that's just that.
Growing up in the small town that I'm from, there was only three of us that had Xbox. Everyone else was PlayStation, man. So you could only play online with like three friends, and there was actually Steve and Tomo, like the three guys. Me, Steve, and Tomo, the three boys that had PlayStations.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Xboxes. But yeah, if there was some sort of big thing that everyone could just jump into, even if it was like a physical, like a chat room that you go on the screen and you see everyone that's on there, and you can jump into like specific rooms, but then still be able to play the games. That would be sick.
Yeah. I think it will come.
Whether or not that'll ever happen, like, I don't know.
I think it will do, because I think there's I don't know. They kind of realise that there's not much benefit to sort of splitting groups of players up.
But you've got game chat, haven't you? Now you've got game chat, so you can
game
still
chat
play Call of
sucks.
Duty. Yeah, it does suck, but you can still play Call of Duty with your friends on a PlayStation and chat to them.
Yeah, but it's shit.
You just have to listen to someone else going like, "Oh," in the background or something.
When we play with Steve and he's playing on his
Oh god,
PlayStation,
yeah.
it's like, because we're in party chat and it's like good quality, like flawless audio, and it's like, we got to back out to like game chat, and it's like,
and the thing is that like Steve has an Xbox, he just can't be fucked to like lean over and turn it on or something.
so you have some like kid who's like getting told off by his parents. You got some guy playing like fucking music down his microphone.
Yeah.
It's like,
someone else
God.
with a nose mic, like.
One of those. Do you remember? Sorry, I think we might have spoken about it before. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Those 360 like throat mics. Do you remember
when COD 4 came out and they released the throat mic for 360, made everyone sound like they were in a cave.
I remember that. It's so funny.
Yeah, I remember that.
The throat mic.
Yeah. Everyone thought it was so cool because it was like a little thing around your neck and a little earpiece. But yeah, it genuinely made everyone. It gave everyone like a mad echo, or like crazy reverb or something. Yeah, mad.
It's funny.
Yeah. I have got 2 points left. Hamby, have you got any more?
I got like one or two more. Yeah, I'll let you go.
Okay. So before I come to my last one, sticking on the sort of the Xbox-ness of this all, one thing I love about gaming, and it's why I love Xbox. I always will, just because I'm so familiar with the platform, But one thing that I think makes the Xbox just stand head and shoulders above any other console, not that it's a competition or anything like that. What I love about it is the whole Game Pass, Xbox Gold Ultimate situation. The fact that for £10 a month, which, if you play Xbox a lot, really isn't that much money. For £10 a month, I can go online, I can do anything I want online. I have access to Xbox Game Pass, which includes EA Play and all other things like that. Game Pass is just so good. It's like 100 plus games, like brand new games, old games, indie games, and they do sort of revolve slowly. Things will leave and come back, and new things will turn up and stuff. But like, you don't ever need to buy a game with Game Pass. It's so good. I just absolutely love that about Xbox.
I think it will become the norm on like all platforms because of how popular it is on.
Well, this is what I was saying earlier about the PlayStation codename Spartacus. Apparently they're working out how PlayStation are going to come up with a Game Pass killer.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, people like pay for Netflix subscriptions, Spotify subscriptions. Like, why not have a video game subscription? It makes sense in my mind completely.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before Game Pass. Like, I mentioned that it's £10. I think it's like $10.99 at the minute a month.
Yeah,
which I think is incredible value. But it's only a matter of time before it jumps up in price. It's probably going to go up to around 20, I reckon, 20 a month, which, it's still really good value. But apparently, sort of rumours are that PlayStation have thought about this, but apparently for PlayStation's sort of £60, £70, like $70 AAA format, it's just not feasible for them to release a platform where they can have games come to it day one. So rumours are that this whole Spartacus subscription is going to be like a massive bank of like PS1, PS2, like legacy games, but they're still going to make you pay upfront for the AAAs.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that Microsoft, and I don't know, they might, I don't know if Microsoft's losing money on it, but yeah, when they have games like Halo and stuff come to Game Pass on day one, yeah,
See, I don't think they're losing money at all, because you think about how many people have Game Pass. How much is a game, right? 60 quid. Let's just say 60 quid, standard price for a new game. That's 6 months of Game Pass. How many people have Game Pass? How much money are they getting every single month from everyone that has Game Pass? I don't think they're losing any money.
No, it's the fact that like they can afford to have, you know, big budget, you know, AAA games come straight to it, and Sony can't. I don't know.
I just think it's great because like I said, as an Xbox fan, I don't need to go out and buy. I don't really need to go out and buy any games. I can have all the brand new games, well, most of them, come straight to me. I've got banks of indie games and other games, smaller games, old games, original Xbox games that are over 20 years old, all for $10.99 a month. I think that it's just such a good deal. I love that about gaming.
What I would say is if Sony come out with something that competes with Game Pass, if they did have it so that their brand new AAA games were on there, I think it would be better. Mainly just because of how I think Sony have got more and better exclusive games than Microsoft.
Yeah,
and that's been the case for years. That's not a new thing. And I think if all the Uncharted games and all the, you know, new God of War games or whatever, I can't think of many other Sony exclusives at the moment, but you know, but there's loads. They've got loads more than Microsoft, and they're coming out with new ones as well, more than Microsoft. I think if they all came, that would be really, really cool.
I think it would, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think that even if they do come to this thing, it will be sort of timed. I think you'll have to buy it brand new because Sony are you pay up front for a Sony game. I think it'll be you pay for the game and then 6 months down the line it'll be on the Game Pass or whatever it is.
I honestly think video games in general are going to be seen the same way as music with Spotify, or movies with Netflix. But you know, think about people don't. I know there's some exceptions, but people generally don't buy CDs or you know, or even people don't even buy digital albums that much anymore either. They just listen to it on Spotify. Same as movies. People don't buy DVDs unless you know. I know you do because you like something. But
I buy maybe one a year.
But you're even with that, you're in the minority. Most people don't buy DVDs. I don't buy DVDs. And I think video games will be. I remember. So I'm going on a bit of a tangent. I remember when
it's all good.
The Xbox One came out, and do you remember there was a huge uproar before it came out because Xbox or Microsoft said we're going to have DRM on the games and we're going to aim to go all digital.
I remember that. And
there was huge amounts of uproar because back in 2012, 2013, whenever that was, you know, people really, really liked having digital copies of games. I really, really liked having digital copies of games. And
physical copies.
Physical copies of games. Sorry, I was saying digital. And you know, fast forward nearly 10 years, you know, and attitudes have changed completely. I very, very rarely buy physical copies of games anymore. I buy them. True. I buy them when they're cheap, or I get an online key from CD Keys or wherever. And that's how I buy my games now, or I pay on Game Pass.
To be fair, even me, I'm Mr. Physical. I've got I like to have the physical copy of the game, and you know, I do still do that. I do still pre-order if I do pre-order a game, I'll pre-order the physical one. But yeah, the last maybe 2-3 games I've bought have all been digital because, especially with the Xbox and how the new Xbox, how fast you can navigate the menus and the quick resume and everything. You can go you can jump from one game to the other game to the other game. You can jump through 4 different games all within 30 seconds and be exactly where you left them off. Now you can't do that if you have to get a disc and put it in. Granted, you'll still load the game up instantly, but you've got it's the time of getting up, finding that disc, putting that disc in. You know, It's just so convenient to not have to do that.
It's just weird how, like 10 years ago, like everybody was so against it, but
I think also because there was this, because of that, it meant that pre-owned games wouldn't be a thing anymore, and they were saying like if you gave someone a disc, they would have to buy, like when they put the disc in, they would have to buy it to play it, and that's another thing that like, and that along with the always online thing. Yeah. Xbox One had a rocky launch. But you look at like the One S that's come out. It's got no disc drive. Like you cannot buy digital games for it. It's just a completely so you can't buy physical games for it. It's completely digital. And I think if that had come out 10 years ago, there would have been uproar. People would be like smashing that.
But now people accept it because they know that most people have got pretty good internet connection. They can download games in a reasonable amount of time. It's not as big of an issue anymore.
Well, I think even our boy Mr. Big Man Tomo Tomlinson himself is buying one of those.
Yeah,
get one of those Series S.
It's a good value for money. But like music's I think like it's following the same trend of DVDs, CDs. That kind of thing, and the fact that people don't like to buy things up front anymore, really, as much. Subscription fees are kind of a lot more attractive to people, and I think they're probably a lot more lucrative actually as well for companies. Yeah, so you think you think like back in the day, if games are £70, like fair enough. I have a job now and I have money, but back when I was a teenager, I'd maybe get like 2-3 games a year, like brand new games. Yeah. Because I saved up for it and stuff like that. But you probably make way more money out of somebody if you charge them 10-20 quid a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And because they're never gonna play every single game available to them, are they?
Yeah, man. I love that. So I've got one more point. Do you want to jump in with one before I get my last one?
I think I'm done.
Okay.
On that.
Okay.
I think I've done everything of mine.
My last point is just it seems a bit weird now because we've gone through all the sort of things I was going to talk about right at the end. But my last point is I have always just been about the story. I don't care what the game looks like. I don't care what the game plays like. If it's got an amazing story or an interesting story, I'm invested. So, yeah, I love games that have unique stories. I'm talking cinematic stories. A great example of this is Red Dead 2. That game is so in-depth that it's almost too much. I almost think it's a bit of a pain in the ass, the fact that after you fire a shot, you've got to pull the trigger again to cock it before you can fire another shot. It's little bits like that it's kind of annoying that they've done that, but it ties into this whole this whole story, this whole world. You feel way more immersed because of it, and that it's got a great story. Think of how many games there are that like you've gone like wow after you finished it. A lot of the Assassin's Creed games, loved the stories of those. Them all being one big overarching narrative. Man, there's not really much to say about it other than just games with incredible stories. Yeah. That's why it annoys me so much when they release games, like I've said before, where they don't even release a campaign. It's like it's not even a game.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I think it's because like a good single player campaign, like a lot more has to go into it to like actually make a story that's interesting, that's that's like a movie, that you can actually think about, and it's not just playing through the game mindlessly. It's actually got something to it. So I think the thing nowadays that I like is that as the graphics have improved, so has the voice acting as well in a lot of games.
Voice acting, definitely, and the like I said earlier about the Joseph Fares, the director of It Takes Two. You're now getting an emergence of like auteur directors, and you're like, well, this is that director's work. It's got his like stamp on it, you know.
Yeah.
And it used to be that there was maybe one or two. You'd have like Kojima, you know, where oh, this is a Hideo Kojima game. And then, you know, maybe a couple other guys. But now you're getting all these people, and it's like, yeah, it is getting treated like the industry is getting like the respect that it should have, because it is like the video game industry takes way more than like the film industry and stuff every year. You know, you're just getting all these, as it goes on, you're getting, I mean, not that you didn't, I mean, think of the BioShock games. Fantastic storylines, and those games are ancient now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're getting all these great new games with fantastic, in-depth storylines that really make you think or make you feel. And I said this to Fee the other night. I said, look, I'm really happy that you're sort of learning the controller, you're getting really into this video game, because there's so many games out there that have great stories that I know you're going to love. And I said, like, look, you love the Witcher TV show because you love the world of The Witcher. I was like, Witcher 3 is an amazing game with a vast world where you can just be like, come on, Roach, let's like go and, you know, just hunt a monster or something, you know. So as soon as you get into that, you're just gonna love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
great storylines.
Yeah, I agree. I think to go with that, I'd just say I think the fact that the voice acting is what I just mentioned, but also the fact that a lot of modern games also have the actual, because it's all the facial recognition things of the actors in them. Yeah. Like, I think it's way better and makes things way more believable when you've got a voice that actually matches someone's face, or like,
yeah, definitely. But hang on. But what do you think of like big name actors being in video games?
I think a lot of times it's kind of like almost used as like a selling point for the game. Yeah. Like, I remember when, I want to say it's like, this is before everything came out about him. I think I want to say, was it COD Advanced Warfare or
I'm
Infinity
playing
War?
through it right now. Kevin Spacey.
And this, by the way, this game came out like a few years before all the stuff came out about him doing stuff. Yeah. So when this came out, he was at his height. Like, he was, you know, in the House of Cards. He was riding on
the House of Cards fame.
You know, he was kind of like a huge actor at that point. And then he was obviously put into the new COD game. And I played it, and to be fair, you know, he was actually pretty good at it. Like, you know,
like I said, I bought it the other day. I'm playing through it right now. Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's not the best COD, but he was actually pretty good in it. And but he was in the trailer for it, I remember, and it was like, it was hyped.
He's on the back of the case, like a massive picture of Kevin Spacey, like.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know. I think I don't really understand it, because like, what gamer is gonna buy a game because it's got Kevin Spacey's face on it, or Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt? Well, no one's going to do that.
I kind of feel like it's a little bit weird when you get actors, until video games take another step up where they're like, they are movies, you know. Maybe what it needs is more actors to come into video games. But I kind of think it's a bit weird when you've got like a load of video game characters and then like Willem Dafoe there or something. Yeah. It's kind of just like, oh, hang on, like, I don't know how I feel about it. I obviously love it. I love films, I love actors, but I kind of feel like it's a little bit like out of place. I think a known actor's face alongside like unknown heroes, and
I think it's kind of at the point where they can do it and actually it works pretty well.
Well, yeah, like, I guess because the graphics make them actually look like who they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I know that you weren't a massive fan of GTA 5, but I thought that was actually one of the best things about GTA 5, was actually the actors and the voice actors, and how actually, because they looked like the actors, it actually made it a lot more of an immersive experience. And and that game came out a few years ago, and it's only getting better, But yeah, game series like the Far Cry series, I know that they often like to have like a main actor in it, don't they? That's like that's always their thing. I think it's something
that we're going to see. I think it's something that we're going to see a lot more of in the future.
Yeah,
a lot more games where, and maybe in the future we're probably going to see some games where it's completely actors. I mean, probably one of the closest ones that come to mind is that Quantum Break game, where pretty much all of the main cast are actors because there was like a TV show to go along with it. Now that game bombed, I'm fairly certain, but you still had all these, actual actors in the game. I think we're not quite there yet. I think we're going to get there.
Yeah.
But for me, it's still a little bit sort of out of place. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Hamby, we have come all the way to the end of this podcast. If you, the listener, can think of anything that you love about gaming, we would love to hear it. You can send us an email to dudewhatpodcast@gmail.com. That's DUDEWUT. You know by now. You can hit us up on Instagram @dudewhatpod. @dudewhatpodcast, actually, I think. I'll put a post on there, and what would be really cool is if you drop a little comment on there or something and let us know. We're also on Facebook, Dude What Podcast. There's not as much on there. I'm trying to learn how to use it, to be honest. As someone who doesn't really do much social media at all, I'm finding Instagram actually so much easier to use. The communities and the people are much nicer on Instagram. I'm getting a lot of people, I'm joining a lot of like podcast groups on Facebook, and I'm posting like, hey, here's my podcast, and a lot of people are like, fuck off, literally, and removing my post and stuff. I don't know what that's about. Like, thought we were supposed to be helping each other, but yeah, we're on Facebook now. If you want, you can throw a pound coin our way. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/dudewhatpod, where you can chuck us a quid or two or three, or if you like, you can give us £2 a month, and you can basically just suggest loads of stuff, and we will listen to your suggestions. I think that's pretty much everywhere you can find us. Speakpipe.com. Send us a voice message. Let us know what your favourite things about gaming are. We would be psyched to hear it. Mate, I always struggle ending these pods because I'm always like, is it something else I need to say? I can't remember. I should just end it. I don't know.
End it. Kill it.
Kill it. Just turn it off. Turn it off now. Mate, it's been really great to have you on.
Yep.
It's been a lot of fun, as always.
Yeah, I had a great time. Love talking about random crap for a couple hours.
So I'm hoping to have you on again in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
We'll come up with another topic. I'm really into the music and gaming at the minute, but I'm very aware that this whole podcast started as like a movie pod, and we've done absolutely nothing to do with movies here in a long time. So maybe, I don't know, I'll throw some ideas around and I'll hit you up. But there will be a live stream this coming Friday. Don't really know what we're going to play yet. I'm sure maybe, hopefully, Mr. Hamby will be on that.
Yeah. I should be about.
Don't know what we're going to play. We'll find something as we do. We had a great time playing World War Z the other day.
Pleasantly surprised, actually.
Yeah,
it's not groundbreaking, but it was good fun.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah.
There will be another episode coming every Tuesday. This Tuesday coming, you've got another one. I'm going to have another guest on. Don't know who yet. I'll let you know. Anyway, everybody, we've been rambling for like an hour and 40 minutes. I think it's time to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. You take it easy, okay? Stay safe out there. Peace out, much love, and see you later. Dude, what?